Welcome to English Yogi, a YouTube channel for the learners of English language. In the present video, we will try to discuss the concept of English capitalization, and simultaneously we will learn rules, guidelines with some of the examples. So what is capitalization? So it is a capital letter, or we can say it is an uppercase letter in the sentence. So let's start then. So one of the first rule regarding capitalization is that we use the first word of a sentence as a capital letter. Means we can see in the first example, he is a teacher, so the word is there he, and that is at the beginning of the sentence. So that's why we have to write down that first letter of we can say the first word as a capital letter. So that is the basic rule. Second example also we can tally, the bike is stolen, so the word is there, the, and the beginning of that word is t, so that t letter is written as a capital letter. So this is the basic rule. Second rule regarding capitalization is that whenever we will see pronoun I, so it should be written in uppercase, in capital letter. You can see the first example, I am a student, so I is, we can say, capital. This is the college where I completed my graduation, so we can see after where we have used I. So I is pronoun, and we know that the rule of capitalization regarding I, that is whenever we will use I, that should be only in uppercase, only in capital letters. Third example, we can also see here, John and I have a class today, so I is also written here as a capital letter. So we should remember here that pronoun I always used to be in capital letter in sentence. The next rule is that name of a person or a place, that is proper noun, should be written with capital letter. For example, it is John. So John is proper noun, it is a name for a person, and that the first letter of that John should be written as a capital letter. Second example, my favorite dramatist is William Shakespeare. So Williams and Shakespeare's that first later is written capital, and it is a rule because proper noun should be written and having capital letters. Third example is John is in Mumbai, so Mumbai, that is the name of a place, and that should be written with a capital letter. Then the fourth example is he visited his friend Anthony in Pune. So Anthony is the name of a person, that is a proper noun, and that should be written a capital letter. And similarly, Pune is a place, and that should be written with the first alphabet, first letter with capital. So this is the rule. So proper noun should be written in sentence with capital letter uppercase. Moving ahead, we can discuss again that initials of names should be also written in a capital letter. For example, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. So if we want to write down in abbreviation or in initial form, so it can be written like this, MK Gandhi. So M is also capital and K is also capital. So we should remember that initials of names in the sentence should be written with uppercase, with capital letters. Similarly, the second example we can tally here, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So ST Coleridge. So S is also capital and T is also capital. So we should remember this rule. Moving ahead, again we can tally, titles and abbreviations before names should be written in capital letters. For example, Mr. word is there. If we are using that Mr. as a title with names Thompson, so that M should be capital. Similarly, doctors, D should be capital with the name Reverend Kalathil and Lieutenant Sawan. So these are the examples what we have to remember as a grammar, that whenever there are titles and abbreviation of that title before the names, so we have to use that word in a capital letter. So that is the rule. Again we can say, whenever we are using in a sentence any college degree, so we have to use that degree into capital letter. First alphabet of that we can say the word should be in capital letter. For example, he completed his bachelor of arts from VME college, so that bachelor's B and arts A should be written in a capital word, so that will be correct. And the second example we can tally here, he completed his bachelor of arts from VME college. If we will write down that B in a lowercase or A in lowercase, so that will be wrong, because the rule is that whenever there is a full name of a degree, so that should be written with the capital letter at the beginning. And next one is that when we are giving the introduction of any person with his degree academic credentials, so that should be written in a capital letter. And the example is here, he is BA, MA and LLB. Next rule is about family relationships with titles, and that should become with names. For example, Uncle Sam worked hard for the nation. So that uncle is family relationship, and the word is there Sam. So Sam is name, it is a proper noun. So whenever family relationship comes with the proper noun with the names, on that time that should be written in a capital letter. Second example is Uncle Tom, Grandmother Jenny. So these are the examples of family relationships titles, and that should be written capital, we can say alphabet, when those all words come with names. And similarly, that he is my uncle. So that in the second, that third example, uncle's U is not written capital because after uncle there is not any name. So that's why we should have this in our mind that whenever we will use family relationships in the sentence, so that should become with names, and in that case we have to write down that family relationship titles first letter capital. Second example is that my grandfather went to his office. So in the sentence, that J is not written capital. It will be written capital if after that sentence will come a name, and we can tell it grandmother Jenny. So if Jenny is not there in the sentence, so we have to write down that grandmother s- G in a lower case. So this is a very basic rule. Again, we have to use and write capital letters of titles of heads of state, royalty, and nobility. For example, Prime Minister. So, whenever we will write down this word, so that should be written only in capital letters, means capital alphabet. P should be written capital and M should be written capital. Similarly, President's P should be written in capital letter. And King Edward, so it is a royalty. So, you can say we have to write down that King's K capital, and this is the rule. So if we will write down P small, M small in the sentence, or P again in a precedent, or K again in that sentence, so that will be all incorrect sentences or all incorrect words. So basic rule is that whenever there are the titles of heads of state, on that time we have to write down the first letter of those all words into capital letter. And this is again the rule. So moving ahead, the names of places should be written with capital letter. For example, John is in Mumbai, so M should be written capital because it is a rule. Amravati's A is written capital. Amravati is 70 kilometer from Chikaldara. So C is also written capital because that Chikaldara is a name of a place. So it is very clear cut that the names of places should be written with capital letters. That is again a rule. So moving ahead, the next rule is that names of nationality also should be written into capital letters. For example, Indian, Asian, Japanese, and Chinese like this. Again, adding the next rule is that names of religions should be written with the capital letters. For example, Hinduism, Islam, Jainism, and all the holy books name should be written with the capital letters. For example, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita. So these are the examples. Again, the organization names and governmental units should be written with the capital letter. First example is the survey is conducted by the Geological Survey of India. So here in the sentence Geological Survey of India's J is capital, S is also capital, and India we should write that I in capital letter. Second example is he works in the Department of Agriculture. So D should be written capital because it is governmental unit. And third example is Crime Investigation Department. That is C and I and D is written capital. Solve the case. So this is also governmental units. And the fourth example is Indian Embassy in Ukraine is closed. So I should be written capital and E should be written capital because this is governmental units. So very basic rule is that whenever there is a name of organization names or governmental units, on that time we should write down those governments units that initial letters, the first letter into uppercase, or we can say into capital letters. Again, moving ahead, the days of the week and the month should be always written into capital. For example, we had a party in June, so J is capital. Our exam result will be declared on Monday. So here M is capital. So similarly, we can tally this example. The college will be reopened in July. So J should be written capital because this is the rule. Means the days of the week and the month should be written into capital letter. Next example is John's birthday is in December. So D is capital. Similarly, adding to this rule, the names of holidays and festival also should be written into capital letters. For example, we have a Diwali vacation next month. So D is written into capital letter. Similarly, Independence Day. So what we have to remember in our mind, the names of holidays and festival should be written with capital letters. Again, moving ahead, the first words of greeting in the letter. For example, capital, we can say write down dear Sally. So dear should be written capitals, and then later on respected sir. So R is written capital. So this is the rule in the letter. Whenever we are using salutation in the letter, on that time we will use the first letter capital. And similarly, we have to write capital the first letter in closing. For example, yours truly. So why should be written capital in the letter? This is again a rule. So moving ahead, as we have discussed in one of our video, total detail regarding an interjection. So we have to write down capital letter into interjection. For example, alas, he is no more. So A is capital. Similarly, oh, it was my fault. So O is also capital. Wow, that's a great news. That is W is capital. And she, keep silent. This is the library. So SH capital. So this is the again the basic rule. So whenever we will use and any interjection in the sentence, on that time, that's first letter of that word should be written as a capital letter or uppercase. Similarly, any trademarks used in the sentence should be written with the capital letter. For example, Pepsi, Sony, then Tata and Toyota. So these are the trademarks, and all trademarks, whenever we are using in the sentence, on that time we have to write down into capital letter. Again, moving ahead, that historical or political events also should be written into capital letter. For example, Christian era, so C and E, these two words are capital. Middle Ages, M and A is are capital. Great Depression, similarly the French Revolution, F is and R is capital. So this is the basic rule. Historical or political events should be written into capital letters. Again, moving ahead, and thank you for watching this video. And if you like this type of video, the content of this video, please like, share and subscribe the channel.